What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, and welcome back to another episode of step-by-step combo tutorials. Definitely one of my most favorite videos to make on the channel. Essentially what I do is I take a deck that's really popular in the format, and I'll try to find a few combos. Like, none of these are my own original combos or anything like that, but I introduce the archetype to you and I explain the combos a lot slower. Because when I look at these, it's always people kind of assume you've been playing for a while, and most people have. You know, I'm one of the kind of people who are just kind of at the entry level, and it takes me a while to remember what card effects do. So what I'll do is during the combo, I'll really go into the card text, go into the reason why you do certain things, and hopefully that way it's a little easier to understand if you are new to the game, just like me, or if you're new to the archetype. I think I've watched enough duels to figure it out. But I have figured it out by now, but seeing it in practice, like that, it helped me a lot. And so now I think I'm ready to make this video and hopefully sound like I know what I'm talking about here. So for this combo, it's a lot of these cards you're going to kind of ignore because, I mean, this is probably an even better opening than you would expect. But for the purpose of this one, assume you just have Drytron Alpha and Zeta in your hand, so those two monsters in particular. Now, what the Drytron archetype does is its effect happens upon special summon, so not when it's on the field, which makes it very, very tricky to work around. Like, cards like Infinite Impermanence do absolutely nothing to the deck, which definitely helps with the ceiling of it. And what all the effects do is you contribute either another version of a Drytron monster or a ritual card to special summon it, and then the only difference between all the different monsters is they have different effects upon special summon. For example, Alpha gives you a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, and Zeta gives you a ritual spell. I think there's two other ones. One of them helps you draw a card if you have a ritual spell in your hand, and another one returns a banished Drytron monster. But these are going to be the two main ones. I mean, these are the ones that really push your engine. And then there's like stuff like the field spell, which can give you more access to it, and that's kind of just the brief introduction to it. So let's see what we have going on here. You're going to go ahead and activate Alpha. Like I said, you contribute either a ritual or another Drytron to activate its effect. So that's what we're going to do here. And like I said, assume none of these cards are in your hand. They're all kind of a waste, right? So to your hand, you're going to add this card called Cyber Angel Ben 10. The Ben 10's insane. It's basically, the best way I can kind of describe it is if you had Phoenix Blade in the form of a ritual monster, but better. Meaning it's infinite, not infinite, but it can replace itself with another copy of itself. So for this engine of tribute summoning and special summoning, you're not negging super hard, which is kind of like an inherent problem with ritual spells and ritual summoning just in general. So that's why this card is so important. It also just adds any light fairy. So towards the end of your combos, you're going to be adding more like good pieces, but for the beginning, it's just going to kind of drive this engine that you have rolling right now. So that you're going to start this little resource loop here. So all the Drytron monsters, if you can believe it, activate in the hand and graveyard. You can only activate them once per turn, obviously, but the fact that you have that kind of flexibility again is what makes this archetype so good. So you're going to tribute one of the Ben 10s from your graveyard, which is going to special summon itself. And like I said, this is going to add the ritual spell. This is Zeta. Zeta has the ritual spell to hand. And then like I just mentioned, every single time Cyber Angel Ben 10 is tributed, it's going to go ahead and search a light fairy monster. And this is going to add your first level of disruption, which is Herald of the Orange Light. What Herald of the Orange Light allows you to do is tribute itself and another fairy monster from your hand to negate a monster effect. So let's say you're going through this now and your opponent is trying to hold off on some sort of hand trap. Well, now, for the most part, even if it's Nibiru, or the only thing it really could be is, I guess, Infinite Impermanence or Effect Failure. But like I said, all of the effects of the Drytron monsters activate upon special summon, so there's no use in them at all. But Nibiru definitely would be a huge one to go for. And the cool thing is you'll find out is, I just kind of told you, is that Cyber Angel Ben 10, when it's tributed, does a search. So even off the Herald of the Orange Light, you're going to keep gaining advantage just off of that. So that's where that comes from. And plus you already have another Ben 10 in your hand that you can keep using for the Drytron monsters, but I don't think you'll have to anymore. You're going to go ahead and link these two off into a union carrier. So this whole archetype stops you from special summoning from the deck. No restrictions on the graveyard at all, again, which is just crazy. And if you guys don't know Union Carrier, this is a card I use a lot in ABCs, and I am just so scared that this archetype is going to be the one to get this card banned. But it's such good equip support, so hopefully the card that equips to itself is the one that gets banned. But in any case, it lets you target either the same type or the same attribute, and you can equip it from the deck. So even if the card is technically not an equip card, you can still equip it from the deck, which is where it's going to come up here. So basically, you're going to equip a Dawn Knight, since it's light, and so you can equip it to itself. It's not even restrictive in that sense. But if this is sent to the graveyard, you can send a light monster from your deck to the graveyard, and all the Drytron monsters, of course, are light monsters. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, well, how the heck is this going to get to the graveyard? Because first of all, we know Union Carrier can't be used as link material that uses effect. Well, wouldn't you know that this is a machine monster? So when you equip it, it's going to go ahead and gain that 2,000 attack. And the Drytron ritual spell does not use levels, it uses attack points. So technically you can summon any 2,000 attack or lower ritual monster using this field spell, which is really good. It's a great way to get around the inherent kind of problem with Union. So from the graveyard, you're going to go ahead and activate Cyber Angel Ben 10 again. None of these cards are once per turn. And since Dawn Knight was sent to the graveyard, you're going to send a light monster. So you're going to send this kind of not last one, but one of the last important Drytron monsters. That's not really an extender. It's more of like helping your combos go through. Is Drytron Gamma. Gamma allows you to tribute, just like all the other ones, special summon itself, but his effect lets you special summon another Drytron from the graveyard, which is really good. So that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to tribute this off to special summon itself, and also Alpha. You can summon the other one too. I don't think it matters at this point. But once again, that Cyber Angel Ben 10 is going to activate to add another light monster from your deck. It's not a machine monster. And this is it. I mean, this is what makes the deck as good as it is going first. I have a lot of questions about this going second, but that'll be something for another time. But in any case, you have not normal summoned yet, of course. And this can't be, it cannot be special summoned, so it's one of those cards that fits in this criteria of being able to summon it. Then you can also, the ritual spell from the graveyard lets you take 1,000 attack off of a monster and add it back to your hand, and you can actually ritual summon again, just churn. The only effect that's once per turn is just the one that adds itself back to the hand. You're going to go ahead and activate the ritual spell once again to summon another Ben 10. It never ends, right? And since you're going to tribute summon again the Ben 10, you're going to be able to use Ben 10's effect once again. This is the last time. This is the most cookie cutter combo that there is. And this may not seem like too much, I suppose, but locking your opponent out special summoning, this is a monster negate, and if you tribute it, it adds you another Herald of the Orange Light with it. So you have that additional monster gate, and this is just off of 2 cards. So this is kind of like the baseline. This is the most vanilla version of the deck that you're going to see. And then now what I'm going to do in these next 2 combos is go over 2 variants of the deck that you'll kind of see end up not polarizing the community, but just 2 different styles. Like, that's just kind of what it is in a nutshell. So let me go into combo number 2. This is going to be the Megalith version. So you'll find one that is like the Herald version, and then you'll find this one, which I think is becoming more popular. It's Megalith. It gains you a lot of advantage. It has a lot of pops involved, but it does not have anything to do with Vanity's emptiness, which is what is kind of the big difference here. Or Vanity's Ruler, I forget the name of the card now. But in any case, it's insane that Cyber Emergency searches all the Drytrons. This is another card that could get banned and kill me in a Cyber Dragon ABCs. We'll see. But in any case, Drytron Nova lets you special summon a Drytron from the deck. This card will eventually be limited, just like the Psychic one. But that's going to get you the Alpha. Again, your combo is going to be starting very similar, just with a completely different end board here. You can go ahead and link that off. It is a level 1, so you can go into Link Karibo. That way you can use its effect in the graveyard, right? So you're going to, from the graveyard, tribute the Zeta to special summon the Alpha, and this is going to get your resource loop going, just like last time. That's going to get you the Cyber Age-Old Ben 10. And so you can activate Zeta from the graveyard as well to tribute the Ben 10 to special summon itself. That's going to get you the ritual spell just like last time, and that's going to trigger the Ben 10. And the Ben 10 is going to grab you actually a Manju. Yes, a Manju. It's going to help extend your combos here. So what you're going to do is you're going to normal summon this Manju. They'll let you add either a ritual monster or a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. And you can normal summon once. It's just you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except monsters I believe that cannot be normal summon or set. So that's going to give you a Megalith Fool. So this is like a pretty extensive Megalith package in here, and I'll take it one at a time, obviously. A lot of them allow you to ritual summon from the deck, which is just crazy, and it just kind of takes advantage of all these different engines in here. And I kind of knew it was coming because when Block Dragon was out, that Megalith was just for that week, real top tier. But in any case, you're going to take that Manju and the Link Karibo, and you're going to link summon into a Cross Sheep. This gives you a bunch of different effects based on if you ritual summon in a zone it points to Fusion, Synchro, XZs. We're obviously going to end up ritual summoning there. You're going to convert the Zeta and the Alpha, since we got the full advantage of that, into a Union Carrier. And just like last time, you're going to target itself to equip this Dawn Knight. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can chuck the last kind of piece you need in there. So then, again, it starts out fairly similar, but you'll see where it gets different here in a second. You're going to activate the ritual spell to tribute off this Union Carrier into none other than your Cyber Age-Old Ben 10, since we can still use its search effect. That's going to go ahead and trigger the Dawn Knight to send, I believe, a Gamma. But before you do that, you can actually use Cross Sheep's effect. So when it's ritual summon, you can draw 2 and send one to the graveyard. Now, it doesn't really matter too much what you end up sending to the graveyard. You just have to make sure one of them is full specifically. So that's going to be one of them, and you can send whatever extra you have. I think I ended up sending the field spell because I kind of had enough disruption in my hand, and I wanted to keep it. But yeah, like I said, you're going to send the Gamma there. Now, this is where it starts to get all real crazy. So activate Gamma's effect in graveyard to tribute the Ben 10. And you're also going to summon back the Alpha. That's going to trigger the Ben 10 since it was tributed. And to your hand, you're going to go ahead and add an Eva. This is the one that replaces itself with the effect of Herald of the Orange Light, or any of them. Anytime it's sent to the graveyard, you can just add 2, which is good to keep that resource loop going. You're going to activate the ritual spell's effect in the graveyard to 1,000 less attack for one of these machine monsters to add it back to your hand. And then you're going to go ahead and ritual summon once again. You're going to tribute that 1,000 attack little monster you have there to summon out the Fool. It only has 500 attacks, so that's why you're able to get away with that. So that's why we put it in the graveyard. You can, when you do this ritual spell, you can also ritual summon monsters from the graveyard, which completely just modernizes the the entire ritual summoning archetype. Fool's effect's going to go ahead and activate, targeting the Ben 10 in the hand to ritual summon this Megalith Ophiel. I think I had it in my hand, but it could also be from the deck, so I don't have to think too hard about that. That's not part of the combo. I just kind of, I guess it's probably a bad thing I drew it, but you're never going to draw that perfectly, Then you're going to, that Ben 10 is going to get added back to the hand so that you can use it again later. But since you did earlier in the turn trigger that to tribute that Ben 10, you're going to be able to add another light into the hand. Then you can, I think, activate the effect of Ophiel. Again, this is another one that helps you ritual summon during the turn using itself, I believe. Ophiel's first effect lets you add Auk to the hand, because that's the one you do need to search. Then you can add another Ben 10. You could have probably added another one of these, like Purple Light or something. Like the Herald of the Orange Light negates monster effects. I think Purple does trap effects, so that's something you'd have to kind of decide on your own, I suppose. Whatever fits your play style. But for the purposes of this, we can just say you added a Ben 10 to the hand. Now you're going to go ahead and use the effect to ritual summon during your turn, and that's going to get you an Auk. I think this lets you draw a card and then pitch one. That's not necessarily the important effect. And then this is one that during like the main phase, again, you can ritual summon. All of them do this. And I'll show you basically like what this kind of means in the end. In that discard effect that I just told you, the draw one discard, now you can go ahead and pitch the Eva. Eva's going to activate to let you add 2 lights to the hand. You can add another Herald and another orange. Again, you're going to be able to tribute this and then keep adding advantage back, right? They're all going to replace themselves if you use the Ben 10. And then this is the purple light. So in the end, you draw all of these cards and you have all of this disruption. And that's not really it. So once you do this, you're going to turn the Cross Sheep, the Auk, and the Alpha into a 3 negate Appaloosa. And it just went out. But basically at the end, that Megalith card full, like I just said, lets you ritual summon from the deck. I think I had it in my hand, but there is a Megalith monster that lets you pop 4 during your opponent's turn. So it's a quick effect during your opponent's turn. A pop 4, basically 4 monster negates in your hand, since the Herald replaces itself. It's kind of my preferred end board, to be honest with you. But I totally get the just blowout ability of Vanity's Ruler. That one's just kind of really hard to break in my opinion. Plus you saw me keeping up that advantage, right? This is going to be the last combo that I'll show you here today. I did have the Ben 10 in my hand, which is really nice. So that's going to be able to keep my combo going just from the get-go and kind of maintain advantage throughout. If you open it, it's kind of ideal. Since I already had another Ben 10 to my hand, you can go ahead and add Eva straight off the bat here. This is, again, the Nova is going to help you special summon from the deck. That's going to give you the Zeta. These are the 2 tag team partners, the ones that make it all happen. Again, I think this one's going to be fairly similar to the first combo, but just a little more to it. You're going to see this a lot. I mean, this is a very similar play. The Zeta and the Alpha turn into none other than a Union Carrier. Carrier is going to go ahead and target itself to summon none other than, or to equip none other than Dawn Knight from the deck. And the nice thing about Union Carrier as well is even if you do hard draw it, which would be unfortunate, it's still, you can equip from the hand, which is really cool. In any case, you're going to go ahead and activate that, what's it called, Zeta from the hand, triggering the Ben 10. So first you're going to add the ritual spell. And now you're going to go ahead and add a light monster. That's going to be Vanity's Ruler. Again, much more similar to the first combo that we had. Then you can go ahead and ritual summon using the ritual spell with the Union Carrier to come back for the Ben 10. That's going to trigger the Dawn Knight. Dawn Knight's going to send a light to the graveyard. I think I'm going to send a Gamma. That's exactly what I do. Gamma is going to go ahead and activate, targeting the Ben 10. To special summon itself and the Alpha from the graveyard. That's going to trigger Ben 10's effect because it was tributed. And to your hand, you can go ahead and add, yes, Herald of the Ultimateness, or I think there's another one. They're very similar, but anyways, like the idea behind this, and this is a really good combo as well. Anytime your opponent would special summon a monster or activate a spell or trap effect or a monster effect, you can send 1 fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard, negate the special summon or activation if you do destroy it. I mean, it's just a walking tank for the most part. But we still have quite a bit to go here. You're going to go ahead and activate the ritual spells effect from the graveyard. You can target the Zeta. I don't think it really matters too much at this point to add it back to your hand, because obviously you're going to want to ritual summon this Herald, which is only 2,000 attack, which again is like pretty OP in my opinion. We have not normal summon this turn, so we're going to use Vanity's Ruler so your opponent can't special summon, but we can. That's the important part. It's not restrictive on our behalf. So in last but not least, you're going to activate this Meteoritis, I don't even want to say it, the Drytron Ritual spell. Like I said, it is 2,000 attack, so you just have to trigger one of them. You could probably put this in defense position. So what this is basically is, like I said, when your opponent tries to act, well, first of all, they have to get around the fact that they can't special summon. And if they have any sort of spell and trap, or like some sort of removal in that sense, you can negate all of it. and you contribute this Eva from your hand, and the Eva is going to replace itself with 2, and you'll probably add like a Ben 10 or an orange light or a purple light. Just again, it's all just more fodder for this Herald of the Ultimateness, and that's what is so powerful about it. So basically, you see the Herald versions, you see the straight up Vanities Ruler versions with a bunch of negates going first. Like, this is kind of like the body in the, like, this is the first combo with a body to represent the negates, if that makes sense. And then you'll see the second one with an extended Megalith package. They technically can live with all within one, but your consistency is kind of going to get jacked up. From what I've seen and tested, you're going to want to stick with one of these kind of things and roll with it, because I'm not sure what this deck can do going second. I haven't quite figured that out just yet. But yeah, I mean, that is a deep dive into Drytrons. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what other combo tutorials you might be interested in me doing on this channel. These are really fun for me to do, and it's good just for me to like go through it and understand it, so when I play against it, right, I'll probably be a little more well equipped on how to get rid of it. But other than that, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful night.